Hello and welcome to the final match of the Night Watch Xwing tournament. It was a 100-point tournament, Swiss round robin with 20 players. Joey and Steven come into the final match at 3-0. Joey running a Dengar Ketsu list and Steven running a Manaroo, Assajj, Fenn list, all with Mind Link. For more Night Watch games, you can visit them at nightwatchgames.com or find them on Facebook. Joey begins the match on the left side of the mat as Steven begins on the right side. Steven has initiative, so with a pilot score 9, he will move before the two pilot score 9s on Joey's side. Both players have set up on opposite ends of the mat, not wanting to engage in a traditional joust right off the bat, hoping to find some value in the rocks or some sort of advantage flying through the rocks. Steven's list has become more prevalent as of the last few months. The Mind Link build with Manaroo provides a lot of option for extra actions because the focus is already provided, and then Manaroo being able to pass it off again and regaining the focus gives for a lot of action economy. Fenn being the heavy hitter on Steven's side of the mat, Manaroo being a support role type ship, and then Assajj is essentially just being tanky, and you'll see that as we go along. All of his ships are pretty bare bone except for Fenn, who has a typical loadout with the tidal and auto thrusters. Fenn being a very, very potent ship at range 1, essentially able to roll 5 dice as long as there's not a munitions failure at range 1. 5 red dice on the attack. Joey's list is also a very potent list. Ketsu, Ketsu is the pilot that allows you to add a tractor beam token at range 1 of both the primary and auxiliary firing arcs. He also has a tidal, so if he hits you, he will add another tractor beam. And then Dengar, being the muscle of the group, firing after Ketsu, hopefully with reduced agility. He will hit with the K4 security droid. He will be trying to maintain green maneuvers, getting the target lock, and making sure his opponents stay in his front arc so he gets the rebound shot. It's a list I've played against a lot against him, and it's a very, very, very difficult list to contend with, and you'll see that as he plays this match. Joey moving along the bottom of the map very quickly, coming out of the gates fast. Steven coming out a little bit slower to see where Joey's going to put himself. Joey's rock placement will keep his ships on the bottom half of the map for at least a turn or two, the large rock clusters being so close together. We got a camera bump. We have 1 or 2 of these games. Unfortunately, my setup wasn't as optimal as I would like it, but it worked out well. Picture's still pretty good. Joe and I have both been playing around with Ketsu. My build's a little bit different than his in that I use push to limit. However, he did convince me that engine upgrade is a fantastically valuable upgrade to have for Ketsu. You can cover a whole lot of ground very quickly, and getting your opponent into that range 1 firing arc to get the free tractor beam token. But I was saying I like mine with push the limit because it allows me to move my multiple firing arc if necessary, because we do not have the gyroscopic modification that allows you to move it after at the beginning of end phase, I do believe, or the end of combat phase. Still a very potent list without push the limit, but I do like the extra tokens. He runs his with 4 LOM, so that he can shut down tokens, giving him an extra chance to push through some damage if he rolls well. One difficult thing he's going to have during this match is that he will be passing Steven will be passing tokens to Fenn, and Forlom only allows you to lock down one token at a time. And so with 2 focus tokens, it's going to be a while before that becomes advantageous for Joey to use. Additionally, Joey, so he runs Fearlessness also. He's looking to get both of his ships at range 1 and in arc at some point. And that's also a difficult maneuver to pull off with 2 large base ships. However, he has been running this for some time and has a lot of experience with pulling that off. Fenn boosting here, of course, being able to because of Mind Link, and he will still wind up with 2 focus tokens when it's all said and done. It's a pretty amazing ability. Nice in a game that uses so much action economy as a way to win the game. It's almost essential. The ships or the player who maximizes his use of his action economy will have the leg up in the game. I do believe Joey moves his mobile firing arc to the left, hoping to get a shot on Fenn this round. Contemplating his next move with Dengar. He has 3 inertial dampeners loaded onto his loadout, and that is something that will catch you by surprise if you haven't played him before. And even if you played him before, it'll catch you by surprise. He will stop and stop again, and then when you don't think he's going to do it again, he will stop again. So he has a lot of cool ways to keep it. The most important thing he's doing, or he has on his list, is he is trying to maintain those front arcs at range 1. That's a strength of his list. Of course, range 1 of Dengar, and you wind up with a rebound shot, then that is 5 dice firing at you in 2 shots, which will end games very quickly if you're not careful with them. This being the last match of the game, this was later in the evening. It was a four game tournament. So by the end of the evening, it had made for a long day. So, and you'll tell that in the first couple rounds of flying that both players have definitely show some signs of fatigue as they play, and those rock formations have both of them at a disadvantage. Fenn is going to get the first shot, I believe, at range 3, and I believe he takes that at Fenn, yeah, or I'm sorry, at Ketsu. So I'll be firing 3 dice. No re-rolls, but he does have the double focuses. 2 hits. Steven has the last year's regionals top 8 dice. A little hard to see on the camera, but they do a good job of putting the dice out so I can see them. Rolls 1 hit in return, no modifications, 4 dice with auto thrusters. I believe Dengar might be on a rock there. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I don't know that he took a shot. I think only 1 shot coming from Joey that round. I think if that is the case, he also didn't roll for damage on Dengar, but again, it's difficult to see from this angle what had happened in that situation. Assajj, the tank of the list, gonna fly right onto a rock this round. Yeah, he's gonna be right on top of that guy. I'm not sure that he takes any damage, but not being able to shoot is going to be difficult for him. Finrao 2 banking in. Now this is where Steven has to be very careful. I know he has played the tractor beam a couple of times today, but Finrao is in a very dangerous position because if he gets hit, he will wind up on that rock. Also, if one thing about Ketsu is that running into your opponent is a very valid strategy because even if you run into them, that pilot ability triggers. And so you will see a lot of Ketsu players just flat out run into another player. Now he'll target lock here, having the focus from Mind Link, and then when he Manaroo pushes his focus token, he will have 2 focus tokens, which is very big for Finrao because one of Finrao's downsides, where it's very offensive, it can get taken off the board, and especially in one round. And he makes that too. That's going to be very bad for Steven. That will wind up on the tractor beam in the first round. The next move is, or he's going to decide his actions for Ketsu. But yes, so Finrao can be very squishy, especially if he only has 1 focus token entering into combat, because you will want to, if you're at range 1, you will want to spend it on offense because you will want that for offense. You will want those 5 hits to land. Of course, spending on offense and being a high pilot score, then you will have nothing for defense, and that is where the real danger lies. Now, he will get the free evade for being at range 1. However, well, I guess he will be in both arcs. That's the one thing about the mobile firing arc, is that it is an arc. And so if he does wind up at range 1, he will get the free evade token from the Concord title card. Joey 1 banks, attempting to get the target lock from the K4 security droid. However, I do believe he winds up on a rock here, which is going to, well, this is a prime opportunity for him to hit Finrao, and that's what he wants. He wants to be able to shoot Finrao range 1 and have that rebound opportunity, but I don't know that he's going to get that opportunity here. I think he's going to wind up on that rock and with not able to attack. Yeah, it was very close, but. And you can see he was opting to try to get Finrao on both of his range 1 arcs in the first round of firing, so that his combat effectiveness is at its best. But he lands on the rock instead. Let me get a camera bump. It's okay though. Maybe he didn't land on the rock the last one. This one he does land on the rock. And I don't think when I was watching the because they're going to talk over this is they're going to talk over the tractor beam, and Steven's probably more concerned about that tractor beam than he is with him landing on that rock, because now Steven will be on a rock, and with only 4 hull and no shields, that can be bad, especially if a crit winds up on the board. And so Joey's going to contemplate the move here, and I think the best move overall for him is to put him on the rock in a area where he will have to move through it again the next round. Joey explaining that he He doesn't like to just grab other people's ships, even though it's his tractor beam. Steven takes a hit here, so he does ask his opponent if they mind if he moves their ship for them. Joey's going to roll a range 1 shot from Ketsu. He had moved his mobile firing arc last round. Now that's just the trouble with not having any modifications, is all he will get is his roll. This will be a range 1, however he will be firing through a rock and Fenn will get an extra dice. He'll spend a focus to evade the shot. Dengar will not get a shot. Fenn will not have a shot, and his Assajj will not have a shot, so putting Steven on the rock effectively shut him down for this round, giving Joey 1 free shot, so the benefit of the round went to him. Steven turning Manaroo into combat, giving everyone the focus token. Assajj is going to move straight and move her mobile firing arc. Part of Assajj's benefit is that she will give one enemy a stress token in her mobile firing arc from range 1 to 2. The synergy with Lats and the Otani Mind Link and the fact that she has an evade token is that many times she will have a focus and an evade, and she will be able to use Lot's crew card to give herself another evade token or an evade result after during combat by removing an opponent's stress. So very, very tanky list, very a lot of defensive synergy, which you don't normally see out of this gun, which is kind of cool that it's kind of come into play like that. Steven not taking another damage from the rock. And of course, Tiny Mind Link, even though he didn't get an action, he does have his focus token. And he will get another one when Manaroo passes. So again, the strength of Manaroo and the Tiny Mind Link coming into play. Joe looks like he's 3-banking here. Contemplating actions. I believe he winds up boosting for a better position for the shot and then the next round. Dengar 2 turning. Green maneuver, so he will get his target lock, which is a strength of, which is a massive benefit to his list. The free target lock from doing green maneuvers is a very, very good thing when you have limited action economy on your ship for offense. I believe he will focus here. Nope, and a barrel roll. I'm going to try to get it up. He has a rock in place. I believe he focuses here. Now Joey has overclocked astromech on his, or salvaged astromech on Dengar. So if he uses his focus token, he can take a stress to regain it. And Assajj putting a stress token on Dengar. The difficult thing about that, now it's not the worst thing in the world because Joey is probably turning to the left next round anyway, so it's a green maneuver. But if he does use his overclocked, he'll have 2 stress tokens, and so he will only have his target lock next round, which is a preventative measure and a little bit of control aspect of Assajj, as well as it being defensive. And you'll see some of its defensive abilities come into play as the game goes on. I'll point out a few crazy instances where he avoids a lot of attacks from very little green dice. Fenn not having a shot this round. The title card will not come into play for Joey for the tractor beam, though he, 2 shots on target are still a very potent thing. And I believe that's range 3. I can't tell from this angle, but I'll know when the dice roll. If it is range 2, the title will come into play. If I were to Ketsu first, of course, the potential to get that would be good. I can't tell what they're going to call. I guess I'll see if Steven rolls 4 dice, he will be range 4 or range 3. Rolls 3, he'll be at range 2, which is not good for him. 3 dice, 1 hit again. Yeah, there's 4 dice. And again, the difficult thing about not having modifications is you have to wait for your dice to start rolling hot. Now, red dice will do that, so it's a safe bet that if he flies well, his dice will start warming up eventually, which I do believe they do in this game. Dengar is contemplating a shot, understanding he probably will not hit Fenn this round. It is not a bad thing to fire at somebody else. But I think it's always a safe bet, and it's a safe bet from Joey that he's going to work at the statistics of the fight, and that he has 1 wounded ship that he is going after. He does re-roll his blank into another blank. That's also difficult. And he evades those 2 shots. Reducing combat effectiveness is a good way to win your match. Even if it's tedious to do so, reducing a ship by 1 every time will help. So I cut here a little bit. They're checking to see if he's in that mobile firing arc, and the judge rules that they are not. So if that is the case, then that stress token needs to be removed, because it only works if you're in that mobile firing arc, and if you're not, then you're not stressed. Again, it doesn't matter because it's the only stress he has. But still, Manaroo shooting at Dengar. It being the last shot, he does not have to spend that focus token. So it's 2 round. Assajj is not fired. However, Fenn is coming out unscathed, only losing the 1 hit point to the rock. That is an effective way that Joey fights aces, or can fight aces, aside from just throwing massive amounts of red dice at them. If it's a ship that's very difficult to hit and he doesn't have the modifications to do so, he can throw them on the rocks, and that is a way, without actually having to rely on your dice to take out an ace with a lot of agility. I think there's a lot of argument for the power creep on the offensive side, but I really believe it's in a reduced capacity, in that it only really 1 or 2 shots around, depending on your build, is going to be 5+ dice. Now, that's a terrible thing in its own, but it's difficult to set up, and 2, it's only going to happen once or twice a game, unless you're just a very, very lucky player. That being said, there are a lot of modifications already that help you on the green side. Now, green side are less predictable, but the auto thrusters, or mechanisms like Palpatine or anything like that, or just multiple tokens, are already defensive enough. And so I'm not too. I do enjoy the power creep as it exists right now. They're doing a good job of making sure that it does not become, or it is not yet, a terrible thing. If you account for your own defense, then it shouldn't be a factor. But if you don't, then of course it will be. If you just assume that you're going to march around with 1 green dice and live through multiple alpha strikes, then you're setting yourself up for that problem. But of course, if you're set up to play a balanced game with defense in mind, then that won't be a factor. Steven barrel rolls out here. I'm assuming trying to stay away from Dengar's range 1 arc. Ketsu moves first. Of course, that being Joey's primary strategy, using Ketsu for the he's trying to position him well for the range 1 shot. He's going to try to boost here, but he's not going to make it. I do believe he takes an evade. If that is a range 1 shot, that will be 5 dice, focused and target locked from Steven. Joey 1 turns, green maneuver, taking the target lock. Of course, he was looking to have Fenn out range 1. That did not happen. Steven sniffing that out effectively. There's not a range 2 for the mobile firing arc for the stress, so it's going to be range 3, so no stress token. And we're passing the focus token so that Fenn has 2, which is very, very important for him to stay alive, especially since he's a focus of Joey's strategy right now. Look, that's range 1. Alright, the range 1 shot coming from Steven. 5 dice. Or should be. I can't tell with his... Yeah, I see 5 on the table. 1 is hiding there in the planet Star Killer base. He's going to re-roll 1, so must mean he has an abundance of hits on the table. 2 evade, 3 evade tokens, so this is pretty good. To only take 2 hits from a 5 dice attack is pretty impressive. I think it speaks to the potency of a good roll, and then of the Shadowcaster. Which is good for it. It can be a little squishy. With 10 hit points, 7 of it being whole. Critical hits do like to go through and hurt. Joey rolling 4 dice in return. Not rolling well. That's 3 attacks in a row. I think he's only rolled 1 hit. And he gets the free evade from his title. Now, Dengar coming in. I do believe range 3, but I could be wrong about that. Rerolling his blanks. He is not getting a lot of good offensive rolls early on. Oh, 1 crit going through. The green dice fell. That's 1 hit. Oh, maybe it's a crit. I can't remember what it is. That's okay. And you'll see why soon. So the range 3 shot coming from Assajj at Dengar. Dengar will have 3 green dice. The unmodified Assajj, I believe, both with a focus token for sure. 3 hits on the table. Joe rolling 2 face tokens. Contemplating taking the stress to, put the other one out there. He'll lose 1 shield token off of Dengar. The range 2 for Manaroo. 2 dice, I believe 1 hits, and 2 blanks. 1 going through. Early on, Joey's dice are not helping him. Oh, I remember what the crit is. It's a weapons failure. And you'll see that coming up. Manaroo with the 1 bank, focusing to pass off all of the focus tokens. Assajj 3 straight, attempting to keep as many opponents as possible in the range 2 auxiliary firing arc for the stress. taking the evade. One turn. This is the benefit of not having pushed the limit on Fenn. Then you can get to use the one turns more often, and the one turn is a fantastic move. He is barrel rolling. I'm assuming attempting to stay away from that rock. Alright, now Ketsu moving first. 2-turn. And if he makes this, he puts, and he does, so he'll move his mobile firing arc forward. I do believe. I could be wrong. He might be in both arcs as it is. Yeah, he takes a focus token. I think he is confident that he has Fenn around both of his arcs. The 2-turn here, being a green maneuver. So he's on a tractor beam. Now right now Fenn is in range 1 of Dengar, so if he does shoot at Dengar, he will be firing with an extra dice, which will only be 4 this time, because he is has the weapons failure. Manaroo passes the token, of course. He gains it right back. Assajj stresses Dengar. Now, Assajj is focused in, has a focus and an evade, but he is at range 1 in that firing arc of Dengar, so he will get the free hit. Fenn, I'm not sure if, yeah, I do believe he moves him here to get him out of that range 1 of Dengar. You don't want Dengar taking too many hits. He, if he stays the focus of this attack, constant attack, and Joey continues to roll blanks, the game will not last long. Dengar will go down quickly, and I don't think Assajj can do it on her own. The barrel roll was contemplated, and Joey decides to move him backwards and away as far as possible so that Steve doesn't have a 4-dice attack against Dengar. And so since he is at range 2 and he has a reduced firepower, he will only roll two dice. Turns him into 2 hits. Joey rolling 2 focuses. I do believe he because he has to consider if he wants to take that extra stress. I do believe he does. Keeps the focus for attack and defense. Now Assajj gets the first shot here at a reduced agility at range 1, however. So Steven will have let's see, he's a natural 3. So he'll get 4, or he'll get 3. He'll get to roll 3. Joey rolls his 4 dice. He rolls 3 hits, which is a killing blow, and he will 4-lom this time because Steven has already used his. And I believe there are too many blanks on that table for him to not be removed from combat. Dengar's shot is next. Range 1, fearlessness, because he is in that mobile firing arc with a focus, so this should be a good roll for Joey. mimicking the 5 dice attack from Fenn. 3 hits. Now, he rolls 2. You need to only roll 1. Oh no, that's right. He is not reduced, but Fenn takes 1 at range 1. That's pretty impressive for taking a range 1 shot from Dengar. Using lats to remove that stress. He is choosing to go after Ketsu here, I do believe. Not wanting the rebound shot from Joey's Dengar. Manaroo, range 2 shot. 1 hit. And he has a focus, so Joe will be flying around with 2 stress this round. Maneuvers. 2 turn out. Manaroo, of course, still trying to play just the nuisance and staying well enough to support Assajj. Now Assajj is going to have to turn in. Now neither of these ships are very offensive, so Assajj is going to have to be the one who's going to start pumping out some damage here. Stephen one banks with Assajj, which will be good. He will have the ability to stress come combat. Ketsu will move first. Now, Stephen no longer having a pilot score 9 is significantly reduced. Now, Ketsu pilot ability will trigger, even though he ran into a large base ship, allowing Joey to reduce the agility of Assajj by 1. He will get the target lock from the green maneuver. Able to fly around the asteroid if he wants to for a few more turns. Range 2, he's going to throw another stress onto Dengar, I do believe, of the mobile firing arc. Since it is the only thing that can shoot at him this round. Or actually the only thing that can shoot at I wonder. I guess he turned his mobile firing arc out last round. Checking to see if he has them in both arcs. So he will only have 1 dice. He has 2 focus tokens and an evade token. I believe he fires at Manaroo first. Or maybe not. We'll see here. 3 dice. All focuses. Dengar will shoot at Assajj. Reroll the focus. 3 hits. 1 dice from Assajj. Gets a focus. Spends an evade token. And strips a stress for 3 evade results. So that is the power of Assajj on defense. With 1 green dice can effectively reduce or turn a 3 hits into no hits. Assajj fires back, 1 hit on the table. Focus. Looks like, oh, maybe you got an evade there. 2 dice from Manaroo. 2 dice from Ketsu. That is the last shield, I do believe. From oh, there's 2 hits. Okay, so Ketsu is in a hole now. It's a dangerous place for Ketsu to be. With Stephen's ace off the board, Joey will have an easier time of managing this match. However, if he is not careful, and he loses Assajj to 2 defensive ships, then he runs a risk of losing the match on points. Assajj 3 banks. Steven attacks the camera out of frustration. He will get his action. His mobile firing arc is pointing towards the other two ships, so he should be good with that one. More than likely taking an evade, or yeah, there you go, staying defensive. He could take a target lock as well, just to have it, but it looks like Joe's going to go after Manaroo now, which is probably an easier target to take down considering time constraints. Target locking. I still believe he has one. No, he does not. Okay, so he shed all his stress. He takes a focus action, so he is target lock and focused at Manaroo. And if Manaroo attacks him, he will get the rebound shot. That is a defensive measure as much as an offensive measure for Dengar. Ketsu? Oh, he's contemplating an inertial dampener. But I don't think he wants to do that there. I think it'd be better for him to move, considering he has no one in arc. I think he's contemplating it because Assajj might not have arc on him. So if he sits still, that's a gamble though. So I think he goes ahead and just takes his 2 sloop. Probably evading. Yep, kind of boost. Get some distance on those 2 ships. Being in a hole on Ketsu is not fun, especially if Dengar is fully capable of fighting with 1 shield for sure. Beginning of combat, Manaroo passing his focus token. So Assajj will be tokened up all around. That's why I think it might be best to target lock, considering I don't know that Joey's going to go after Assajj with the stress mechanic and three hits sitting on the table. Roll 2 evades. Ketsu's going to fire range 3 through a rock. It's going to give Steven 4 dice on Manaroo with a focus token. Two hits sitting on the table. That looks like it's evaded. Manaroo fires back. Oh, it looks like Ketsu or Assajj first. Range 3. And this is where it gets dangerous. 1 bad roll and a crit sitting on the table. 2 evades. Manaroo firing. 2 dice. Range 3 through a rock, so that'd be 4 dice. Again, focus and blanks are on those dice, so you gotta be very careful. Oh, 2 evades. He got it. Now, with Ketsu's positioning, Joey will not be able to move him first, most likely. So Dengar will be the first one out of the gate for a while until those ships get repositioned. Manaroo 1 turning. Now the good thing here is Manaroo does not necessarily have to focus, because he will get the focus if Assajj focuses, and then at the beginning of combat can still pass it and still regain it. So the clever action economy of Manaroo and a tiny mind link coming into play, doing well for Steven. He did go 3-0 to get to this match. He did bleed a lot of points. He faced a mirror match, I do believe, and then a couple other matches where He consistently at least lost one ship and took half on the others. So while it is a very good list at winning, it is still difficult to consistently pull off. So there is the first inertial dampeners popped. Of course, Joey being in a very good position, range 1 inside both firing arcs. That's where his fearlessness comes into play. So while he will not have his target lock, he does have another mechanic being utilized on his list. Opting to bring Ketsu into the fight. Now he will, if he hits, he will assign the automatic tractor beam token. Or not automatic, but if he hits, he will assign a tractor beam token and then giving Joey possible 5 results on offense. So that's going to be tough for Manaroo to overcome. First shot from Ketsu will be a range 2. No dice modification. One hit. And it looks like... he has to spend here. He's contemplating. I think he rolled 2 focus. He has to spend the focus to make sure he lives through that. Or doesn't get assigned the tractor beam token. I don't think it pays to take the hit, take the tractor beam token, and then have 5 dice coming at you. Or 4 dice and an extra hit. Target lock. Into a focus. 4 hits on the table. And blanks, I do believe. 3 shields. Let's see if he pulls a card from his deck. Nope, he does not. So he got 1 of 8 out of that roll. And Assajj will not have a range 3 shot. I believe this is where Manaroo continues to be a nuisance. Taking 2 hits here. Yep. When all you have is 2 red dice, and the 2 red dice do go through, that is really, really tough to overcome. Manaroo moving first. 1 turning, I don't think he makes it. Yeah, he's gonna bump. Manaroo being in the hole now, this is going to be a tricky position for him to be in. Got to be very careful. He will not, well, he will actually, I take that back. And again, a tiny mind link. He will get the focus token. Even though he bumped, which is good. Good for Steven. They take their time here and ensure that Manaroo is facing the right direction. Again, this is the final match. This is for first or second place. And so they want to ensure that they walk out with a top spot. The tricky thing about tournaments is that if you walk into the final match at 3-0 and you take a loss, there is a good chance that there are a couple 3-1 sitting behind you that could overlap you on points. The tricky thing about going 3-0, which is what it is. Joey does a green maneuver, drops a stress, takes the target lock on Assajj. And so Ketsu is not moving. So I believe the first shot, it's going to be range 1 here, so he's going to reduce the agility. Of course, Manaroo does have the focus token, thanks to a tiny mind link, but he will only be rolling 1 dice. Ketsu, of course, rolling 4. No modifications. However, he can take a 4 LOM if he wants to lock that focus token down. If he does roll well, I am sure he will take that 4 LOM. I do believe there's at least 2 hits on the table. He's contemplating. He's contemplating 4 LOM. He does not do it. I think he just rolls 1 evade, takes 1 hit. Oh, it's a crit. All right. That's a double damage too, I do believe. Yeah. 3 hole left on Manaroo. Dengar fires at Assajj. Now, if Assajj fires at Dengar, he will get the rebound shot, which is good. 3 dice. Gonna target lock the 2 focuses. Do believe he rolls that into a few more hits. Maybe even crits. 3 dice in return. Uses uses the stress from off flats to not take any hits. Let's see if you can pull it off again. 1 hit out of Assajj. And he loses it. That's tough. Now he can take the rebound shot here, which I do believe he does. Yeah. 1 hit though, that's rough. I roll 1 too many dice. Manaroo firing at Assajj. 2 dice, so he will take 1 at least. So he's rolling really well on defense. Takes 2, takes 1 hit, 1 crit. Stress token. He'll flip that over. Now with 5 damage in the hole, has 2 hit points left. Again, Assajj being with all those holes, then the crits start piling up. Damage will happen. 2 green die, so without the tokens, puts him in a rough position. Again, Manaroo gaining some maneuverability from Tawny Mind Link, as odd as that might seem, because he can use his other ship to take the focus. Steven ensuring he's lined up correctly on the barrel roll. Assajj. 3 straight it looks like. And falls off his peg. We are getting close to time that both players have to be aware of. Dengar slooping, ensuring that his target stays in his front arcs. He'll probably take a focus action, keeping him defensive and offensive for the round. Alright, so Dengar is going to take the focus, it looks like. It's probably the smarter of the 2 plays. That or a barrel roll maybe, or a target lock, but it's a safe bet he's going to be returning some shots here, or taking some shots here. 3 turn for Ketsu. That might have been what he was contemplating, to take a barrel roll for to get Bosk out of the way. He might make this though. He did. That's a good move. Losing the stress. Moving his auxiliary firing arc. Again, leaving his ship defenseless. It's going to be tough. That might be a range 1, potentially from Manaroo. Steven paying off other players so that he can try to win more games. He's going to drop a stress. This would be a good move to get that on Dengar, because Dengar wants to take the stress. Puts it on Ketsu. That's also going to limit Ketsu's ability to move next round if he wants to remove that stress. I do believe this actually comes into play here. There's a range 1 from Ketsu trying to reduce the agility of Manaroo. I do believe that is 3 hits, and he is going to take the ion here, I believe. Yeah, see, Manaroo only has 3 hit points left. So this is going to go a long way to reducing that. I believe that's 1 evade, and a crit goes through. I do not remember what that one is, but I do know that one of them is a double. So there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 2 hit points left on Manaroo from range 2 from Dengar. 3 hits. That's a good way to win a game, that's for sure. And Manaroo's dice. Oh, you're gonna roll 1. That's right. So at least 2 of these are going through. And that's death for. There's no way to. He only has 2 hit points left. So with Manaroo removed from the board, the game is in Joey's hands. He just has to a matter of keeping Ketsu alive and whittling down a almost full Assajj, which is difficult enough in itself. 2 going through on the attack from Assajj. 2 dice. I believe it's 1 evade. Yeah. So 1 crit. This is a console fire, and this is going to come into play next round because Joey's stressed, and he has 2 ion tokens, so he's only going 1 forward next round. And he is not going to get an action because that is a white 1 forward from the ion, and so he will not lose the stress. Again, we're getting close to time here, and so it will be a matter of points coming up soon. Still definitely in Steven's hands if he almost has Dengar down to half. I do believe Dengar is into whole, maybe. Can't tell from this angle, but Ketsu's almost completely gone. He has 1 hit point left, and so if he plays his cards right, which is going to be difficult enough as it is because Dengar is just a very potent ship against Assajj, but there's a good chance Assajj will not take any more damage, or there could very easily not take any more damage. And not being close to half, he's not giving up half those points. He'll keep all the points for Assajj. I believe there's maybe 1 to 2 more rounds left in this match, and if that is the case, then there's a very, very, very good possibility that this is still in Steven's hands. Contemplating his action here. He could barrel roll maybe for the range 1 in arc. Oh, he's going to barrel roll out. Okay. Make it more difficult for Steven to get those, because he is Joey's winning on points right now, so he does want to make it more difficult for Steven to gain those half points. If Assajj goes down, or if Ketsu goes down and Dengar goes to half, then Steven wins. Of course, if that does not happen, then Joey wins. So still very, very, very close game. Again, not with many rounds left in the match. He's outside of range 2 of the mobile firing arc, so there will be no stress. And a roll for Ketsu. Yep, Ketsu console fire, and it is a hit. So now that is where this game, again, it's been a marathon match. It went the full 75. This is the critical turns could happen at any moment, and especially on the last round of the game. So they talked this over a little bit here. Dengar is going to take the first shot, of course, at and Assajj has the focus token. So somewhat defensive. There's no stress token, so you're not going to remove any stress tokens. So I believe they've contemplated this is the last shot of the game. Gonna roll our dice here. 3 hits on the table. Assajj going to roll through a rock, I'm guessing they're calling it, and he's going to spend his focus token here. He would have only taken 2 shields otherwise. That would not have been half points. So on the rebound shot, there's going to be three dice coming back here. And one hit. And there was a couple focuses on the table, and and Joey only rolled one evade. That would have put him past half, and Steven would have stayed above half. But since Steven spent the focus token, he could not do that. So that was game. Good match between two guys, two regular players of the San Antonio Xwing squad. Very, very potent list that faced off for the final. And that was the last match of the tournament. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed.